Hi and welcome to my channel. Now before I start today's video I just want to say happy Christmas, happy holiday season and happy new year to all my followers, my subscribers and anyone else who's wandered along accidentally onto this video. Every view really does count. Not that I get many on some stuff I put out, I hardly get any, but obviously I'll still stick them up there because I think it may be something that may be able to help someone out or someone may be interested in. But yeah, every view really does count because every view goes towards me getting something else for the channel because I don't work or anything like that. I've kind of retired, but well, yeah, we won't go into that. But yeah, I've kind of retired. I've got no income coming really, to be honest with you. And I do rely on YouTube paying me a fee to get some more stuff, and obviously them fees come from you for watching the videos. I know it can be painful at times to listen to me rabbit on like I am now, but I just want to let you know that it really is appreciated. And also a couple of thank yous to people that also sent me some stuff for free as well. Kevin Ditton Works and also Mike sent me that AR-60, which I've still got, which is over there at the moment. I will be bringing it out again at some stage. But that helps the channel, everything like that has helped the channel, has helped me go through, and all them recommendations people do in the comments and that, I do look at them and they're on my list, but I only buy that stuff when I get it real cheap. I'm not going to go and pay something £100 and when maybe later on I can get it for 50, because then I'm going to get stuck with it. I'm not going to bore you, but I've got to pass it on and not lose too much money. I'm not like one of these big channels that's got sponsorship, all that kind of stuff, maybe some hidden sponsorship as well. My stuff I've got to go and buy and sell on again kind of thing, and try and put a video out with no money coming in, so you can appreciate that. But along the way, there's some good news, is that I get to keep some stuff, you know, stuff I think that sounds pretty good. A bit like Stereo Review X, the master. I kind of like pick up a few bits and pieces that I think that sounds good, and I keep hold of them, and if I've bought them cheap I've had a bit of a bargain, so that's pretty good. So anyway, today is this AU-217, and I'm going to kind of be pitting against this 101 from Sansui as well. This is talking about Stereo Review X, a similar, very similar video that he put out when he pitched the 217 against the 101. Oh, sorry, the 317 should I say, yeah, the AU-317. This is just one model down from that one. And worth a mention, I think, kind of bought this a while back now. I got it fairly cheap. I think I paid about £90 for it. They've kind of crept up a little bit in value now, especially now that the 317 has become quite popular, and that's kind of crept up in value as well. But we're going to come on to that soon, hopefully throughout as I go through this video. So this 101, just to recap a few things, this is 15 watts. This came out in 73, 74. And the 217 that I'm actually reviewing today come out about 4 years later, 77 to 80. This come out. This is double the wattage of this one here. And yeah, that's it really. This isn't the bottom. This would have been bottom of the range in this particular AU-101 was bottom of the range. This was second from the bottom range. There was an AU-117. And I'm going to talk about that as well as we go along. Even though I haven't got that, and I haven't got the 317, but I will be mentioning them as we go along. So there's two different amplifiers really, even though they've got pretty much the kind of same sound signature to a certain degree. That Sansui sound, as a lot of people kind of refer to it. And to be honest with you, I'm going to put a link to Stereo Review X down below because, as I mentioned just a minute ago, the master, and this bloke really is the master as far as I'm concerned anyway, because pretty much what he says that I've got, bang on, absolutely 100% what he said about stuff is exactly how it is. So I take it that's throughout the range of stuff that he kind of reviews. We will call him the master because he really got me into getting the channel going, and quite a bit thankful to Kevin there at Kelvin, should I say, Kelvin at Stereo Review X for getting me involved. And it's a shame he's not about at the moment. I can only put that down to maybe he's not getting much stuff coming, or he's gone through his complete range of stuff and he's kind of run out of stuff, or he's doing something else, maybe giving him more money, and because you know, you don't really get a lot out of this, I must admit, but still worth doing, still like tinkering around. Okay, there you go, I've waffled on. Hopefully some of you are still awake. Right, this 217, I'm going to agree pretty much everything what Kevin said in them videos. So if you've already seen them videos, you may not even want to bother listening to this one, because Kelvin Stereo Review X, he kind of described this as a valvey sounding amplifier. Got that kind of three-dimensional sound, that airy kind of sound, that tube-like sound. Now I've only had one tube amplifier, and it didn't really match up to this, I must admit. This sounded better than the tube amplifier I had. It was a cheap tube amplifier, but this sounded better than that. So I'd agree with him, I think, not like I say, not knowing really what it sounds like, but I can probably imagine it because there are two different sounding units. This has got that very airy, psychedelic sound, I'm going to put it, and I think Kelvin actually said, what did he say? Kind of, yeah, I think he mentioned psychedelic, a bit spaced out kind of sound. It kind of gives you that kind of sound stage, shall we say, this 101. Well, this is totally different. This is kind of reins all that in. This has got much more of a beefy sound. So right, let's start off. Let's do the bass in there. The bass is really kind of punchy and tight on this unit. It's a lot, as soon as you turn this on compared to this, I know it's double the wattage as well, so we're going to expect that bass to sound bigger anyway. But this has got a much bigger bass. It's a tight, nice tight bass. It's a really bold kind of bass. It's a good tight, plenty, you know, it gets you in the rhythm and everything. Not that this doesn't, it's just you can tell the difference here. This is more of a bigger bass here on this bottom unit. And one good thing about that, because sometimes you can get these kind of basses that sound boom, you know, big and boomy and all that, and you think, oh, that's great and that, but it gets in the way with the rest of the music kind of thing. It's getting in the way a bit. In this case, it doesn't. Everything seems to be really balanced on this unit. So it's quite a balanced sound on this unit. Nothing getting in the way of anything else. So that's one good thing. The mids on here are good, clean mids. Like I say, yeah, the trumpet, sax and all that kind of stuff, they all sound fine, all sound nice. What this is missing, this year compared to this Sansui 101, this here is just missing, like I say, the area, it's that space around the instruments, that bit of space around things. It's hard to describe, but Stereo Review X does kind of gives it this kind of black, empty space around things, and that's what it is. It kind of like this 101 gives you that in a bit of a psychedelic kind of way, you could say. Especially if you're listening there, you know, you're kind of tuned in and you're listening, not wandering around the house or doing other things. If you're actually sat there maybe in the sweet spot and all that, this is giving you more of that psychedelic kind of like really spacious instruments coming out from all over the place kind of thing, plucked out of thin air kind of thing. When this doesn't, this puts it on that sound stage. It's got an area, it's got a three-dimensional sound to it. It's got a little bit of airiness. Just don't get, you know, don't take it away completely from this amplifier, but it's nowhere near as this. And it's just got, you know, just a different sound on this one, even though the signature's pretty much the same, the kind of like actual Sansui sound as they call it. It's similar, it's just the way it delivers it is different on that. So the top end, the top end's quite nice on here, it's nice and crisp. I say it's nice and crisp, it is. I thought it was just lacking a little bit. I wanted a little bit more spark on the top end of this. Just wanted a little bit more spark. Now that bass, like going back to that bass, I'm missing a few things out here. It's quite well defined and everything. Like I say, it's nice and punchy. It's quite well defined. And the top end, like I say, just it's nice. It's fairly crispy and that. But I just thought I'm just missing a little bit of spark on the top end. Just wanted a little bit more spark here. Like I say, the mid sounded quite nice and everything else. Yeah, so let's have a look. Now, yeah, as this is only 15 watts, like I say, Stereo Review X on his video said all you've got to do is turn the volume up a little bit more on this one, and it kind of compensates for this one. I can only slightly disagree, because I think as you start turning, depending on how loud you have it, obviously, but if you start going to the kind of towards the extremes, this kind of loses its way a little bit. Just loses its grip, shall we say, a little bit. Well, this kind of just holds it tighter. It holds that tighter grip with the loud. And in fact, the more I turn this up, the better it seemed to get as well. I was getting done it too loud, obviously start upsetting the neighbours and all that. But yeah, really enjoyed this when I started turning that volume up. It really kind of just kept on delivering more and more and more as we turn that volume up. So that's the difference between these two amplifiers. It's one person's kind of amplifier from the other. I'll keep them both, that's for certain. But it's kind of one person's amplifier. If you want that kind of like, and if you haven't, there's not many amplifiers that kind of give the sound that this gives out. So if you haven't kind of experienced that three-dimensional, airy, got space around the instruments as well, psychedelic sound. I'm not saying this is over detailed or anything like that in any way. It's the detail's okay. It's nothing, you know, it's not top of the range kind of detail. Don't get it wrong. This is the bottom of the range amplifier. And if I compared it to that, 8000A. By who's done that, Audio Labs. I've got rid of that recently. That had a lot more detail than this. You know, the detail, once you put one against the other, you could tell the detail was bringing detail out the tracks, music, whatever you was playing on it. But it just didn't hold my attention long enough. It got boring, like, you know what I mean. It was maybe too clinical for what it was, and that's still like you know, bottom of the range kind of amplifier. You could turn around and say to a certain degree. This just made things, you know, it's just that kind of different sound. It got you interested in, and like I say, it's got that kind of like three-dimensional psychedelic sound that it needs to be experienced. I think, you know what I mean. You've got to listen to it. For what you're going to pay for this, It kind of crept up a little bit. I've seen them go for about 170 recently, but if you get one for about 100, just over 100 quid, I think it's definitely worth looking into getting one of these just to kind of experience that sound. You're probably not going to experience unless you bought a Sansui unit, one of these maybe towards the bottom of the range Sansui units as well. Kind of seems to give that more psychedelic, three-dimensional sound, airy sound. Where when we started creeping up the range, I think it maybe just loses that a little bit. Like I've got the 331 receiver, that does a fairly good job at kind of giving that kind of like that kind of psychedelic thing as well. And also I've got that Sansui 200 little receiver. It's only 5 watts, but that does a really nice job as well. So them kind of like bottom of the range ones. And talking of bottom of the range, the 117 of this. Not that I've got it, but I've been reading quite a few reviews and people's opinions online, and you know, people's tests that are kind of like as long as they agree with me with this kind of thing, and what maybe Stereo Review X said about 317, I think they're probably going to get it right with the 117 as well, if you know what I mean. If they're kind of giving the kind of same vibes that we kind of think, you know, I'm thinking, I think they're probably going to be pretty right with the 117. They kind of say that 117 is kind of leaning back to this 101. It's kind of like tilts it over to that kind of valvey sound, that three-dimensional sparkling kind of sound. So the 117 would be quite an interesting, it's a smaller wattage one, would be an interesting amplifier for me to get hold of, just to see what I thought of it as well. And especially I do like this kind of sound, and it may be an amplifier that I'm going to be interested in, that's for certain. Now going on to the 317 as well, now Stereo Review X said this is the one to get. He's probably had the range. I think he's got the 517 or 717 there as well. Not saying that's a worse amplifier, but just value for money kind of thing, and sound wise. He said the 317 was the one to get. And going, like I say, going by the reviews and bits and pieces I've been reading on the internet and everything else, and a bloke who had all 3 of them as well, that quite trust these reviews of them, said that this one, and like I said, I could do a little bit more sparkle, and he said that the 317 kind of delivered a bit more clarity. This is a little bit more muddier, just a little bit more muddier compared to that 317. So that being the case, I think the 317 is going to be an absolute excellent amplifier. Because I do like this amplifier. It's a good little amplifier, and I recommend it. But what I would say is that for the price difference, you may just want to be tempted, maybe, and especially going by Stereo Review X's review as well, maybe going for the 317, just saving up that little bit extra. Now on eBay at the moment, these go for about, I picked this up for about 90 quid, I think, a little while ago now. These go for about 170, maybe 180, somewhere around there at the moment. And the 317, since Stereo Review's done that thing, and a few more people have kind of got cottoned onto it probably, seems to be going into the top £280 mark, top £200 marks, towards the 300, and some of them just slightly over 300. So you start to pay a bit more of a premium. But like anything else, everything's gone up these days. So you know, from last year or the year before, everything's gone up 40 or 50%. So you know, why not amplifiers kind of thing, and especially good ones that are sought after. So if you're thinking about getting this and you get it at a good price, highly recommended. You're going to have some good enjoyment out of this. This is a good sounding, good sounding amplifier. Also recommend this. Obviously, like I say, may not be everyone's kind of taste. That psychedelic sound, three-dimensional sound, may not be everyone's kind of taste, but definitely worth venturing into and having a little look if you've got some spare cash. Because I don't think you'll have any problem getting rid of it if you bought it at a reasonable price. If you didn't like it, it weren't for you. Obviously, you could get rid of it. But I like this amplifier. And I like pretty much, you know, quite a lot of Sansui amplifiers. I may do a video about that at some stage as well. But yeah, so my recommendations is, if you can get the 317, maybe just a little bit more expensive, it's just afford it just a little bit more, I'll probably go for that. But personally myself, I'll be looking out for the 117 because I'm interested in going back to this kind of sound, and also the 317 on a few recommendations that it's a little bit better than this. And if it's a little bit better than this, then it's going to be very, very good. Okay, hopefully you got something out of that. Like I say, I really wanted to quickly put this video together, and I've not got a light in here. I'm just going to quickly mention the reason I've not got a lot of light in here is that I do this like little video projection onto the window, Father Christmas and some elves and all that kind of stuff. I'll put a video up one day shortly, I should imagine. Once I took it all down, I'll take a picture of it. So I've got light stopping in there. I'm just going to show you a picture of what my window looks like at the moment. As you can see, I've got a sheet up there at the moment, a projector aiming it, ready for tonight to turn it on for passing traffic, shall we say. The kids or anyone passing that looks up and watches it. Okay, so that's it. So I hope you have a good Christmas, and like I say, an Happy New Year. That's enough of me waffling. I'll let you get back to your festivity things, whatever you're doing. And I'll say thanks for watching, and I'll see you all soon.